Greetings folks, and I hope you're hip to be square wherever you are in collecting land. And welcome back to the channel for another episode of Grail or Fail, where we revisit a 1/6 scale figure widely considered to be a classic and find out if it still holds up today and if it's still worthy of that Grail status. And today it's the turn of Iqonic Studios' take on Christian Bale as the suited serial killer Patrick Bateman from the 2000 cult classic directed by Mary Harrow, American Psycho. Usual format folks, up close with the figure, then it's verdict time, and we'll be wrapping the whole thing up in plastic with the usual showcase at the end. But before we attempt to get reservations at Dorsia, I'd like to send the usual shout out to everyone who supported the channel, and please drop a like on this video as it helps other people find the channel. And if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification icon so you don't miss any of the 1/6 scale content we've got coming up, and trust me, there's a hell of a lot of it. News, views, reviews, and just general everything. So, released by Iqonic Studios back in May 2023, let's have an up-close look at Wall Street's favourite bonkers banker and find out if he's a grail or a fail. Okay folks, so before we get uncomfortably close to Mr. Bateman himself, I think it is worth mentioning a couple of other things. First of all, it's the presentation of this figure and the accessories as well. The box that this figure comes with is really, really phenomenal. It is. The presentation is absolutely 100% on point. The box itself with the blood-covered slipcover, the interior, which you can use to replicate the inside of Mr. Bateman's apartment. Just the presentation on point, and the accessories, well. Iqonic Studios really went to town on the accessories, as you can see here. You've got two swap out looks with this particular figure. You can go for the suited and overcoated look, or the plastic coat look and the vicious full-on psycho mode. We'll start with that look, but we will take a look at him just in suit and overcoat. But yeah, these accessories, as I say, Iqonic Studios went all in here. You get all manner of things. You get this this kitchen knife, you get his old mobile phone, which is really nicely done. You get his briefcase, you get the nail gun, the infamous nail gun, which is really nicely done, all in plastic. You get a couple of business cards. You get a full-size business card, and you get a 6 scale business card. Which is a really nice touch, I think, from Iqonic Studios. Now, I can't vouch for the whether this card is bone-coloured or Sicilian Grail. I can definitely say it doesn't have a watermark, but it's really nicely done on a high-stock card and screen accurate, along with the tiny little 6 scale version, if the camera can pick this up down here next to my thumbnail, which you can use in the display as well. You even get a copy of Huey Lewis and the new CD. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the rights to this by the looks of it, Iqonic Studios, so what they've gone with here is a copy where they put their own logo in the top right hand corner, and they've blanked out the faces. But yeah, a nice little touch there. You even get an 80s Sony Walkman, which is great to see, along with the overcoat and the other head sculpt as well, the non-psycho mode head sculpt. But we'll take a look at that when we swap out the outfits. So let's get up close with Mr. Bateman. Let's start at that base. I really do like this base. Not magnetic base here, it's a crotch grabber base, but I think it's just really well done. You've got sort of this high gloss finish to it with newspaper cuttings across the top there, which look like they've been laid down on a wooden floor, if you can see that at the back there, if the camera can pick that up. And there are all manner of things going on here. There's blood spatter, some really authentic dark blood spatter on here. And also you can see the detailing of those newspapers that he's laid down on the floor there before he gets down to business, so to speak. But yeah, let's take a look at the actual figure. So plastic shoes here, nicely done, nicely sculpted. No real laces, but the sculpt is pretty good. They are super clean, as you would expect from Mr. Bateman. Oxfords, I believe they look like to me, or a brogue, more of an Oxford style. But moving up, we'll get a closer look at this suit when we swap out the outfits, but the suit underneath here is just really well tailored, and regulars to the channel will know my opinions on tailoring of 6 scale suits. It has to be done spot on. And pretty much Iqonic have nailed it here. The screen accuracy is there. It is that blue pinstripe. But as I say, we'll get a closer look at that when we swap out the outfits. Let's talk about the psycho mode look. And this overcoat, I've got to say, this plastic overcoat is done really, really well. The materials are exceptionally good. It's relatively simple, but it's just done well with that stitch work in there. It's magnetic fastening at the front there, so if you're wanting to have it completely closed, you can. Great idea to have it magnetic fastening. The fit is perfect over the top of that, over the top of the suit itself, and it's worth mentioning at this point, you can go for the shirted look with just the braces with this figure. It is fully tailored to go for that look, and the quality is really, really good, but probably one of the few downsides, well, it's not a downside, it's a compromise. To actually accommodate all the layers, Iqonic Studios had to go with a slightly slimmer body on this particular figure. So if you do strip it down to the shirt and the braces, you're going to find that the proportions are ever so slightly off, because Mr. Bateman was in prime condition when he made this movie, and the body does look ever so slightly too slim, but it's a compromise. I would rather have the overall look being more proportionate and the body being slightly slimmer. So yeah, let's take a look at the hands, and this you know me and my hand thing. The hands are really good with this figure. There are multiple hands to choose from. The paint applications, the sculpted in fingernails, bone work, vein work, it's all there. And you've got swap out gloved hands, or you can use these ungloved hands. There is a wristwatch on there if the camera is catching that. The sculpted paint application is really nice on that. This axe is very, very well done. The blood spatter effect on the end there is, I'm sort of on the fence about the effectiveness of this. I think probably, I mean, it's a job I've always promised to get round to, but just time constrictions have sort of prevented it, mostly from making content for the channel, unfortunately. But I've always promised myself to do some proper blood spatter effects on this plastic overcoat, and some proper blood spatter effects on this axe as well. As good as this sort of translucent plastic blood spatter is, I prefer to see proper blood paint, the high gloss blood paint used. So a job I have yet to get round to. I will eventually. I will post a video once it's done, hopefully before the end of this year. But yeah, that head sculpt. Let's get closer on the Psycho head sculpt. And I've got to say, I think Iqonic Studios did a cracking job here with this head sculpt. Not the easiest thing in the world to do here, because they're capturing a moment in the film, that moment where Christian Bale absolutely loses it regarding the situation with his co-worker and takes an axe to him. Or does he really? Or is it all in his mind? But yeah, that hair, really well sculpted. I like the fact that they've gone for it all over the place to give it that sense of motion, that sense of action. The sculpt is really nice. The paint applications are very good. There are individual strands in there. The style is right, and that sense of motion is most definitely there. The sculpt itself, I mean, just capturing one single moment is not the easiest thing in the world, and I think Iqonic Studios have made a really, really good fist of it here. I think this is a cracking head sculpt, from the sculpting of the teeth and the mouth, that wet look mouth, and that tongue, which is really nicely done. The fact that he's squinting, almost eyes completely closed to protect himself from what's going to come flying off his colleague. The blood spatter on the side of the face. I can see why Iqonic Studios left this overcoat blood free, and the hands and the axe, to be honest with you. I think it's a difficult decision. Had they gone all in and completed that blood spatter themselves, I think, well, there are people who would have wanted the clean look, so I think it's always going to be a compromise. And I think they've left it down to the individual, but yeah, I think the blood spatter on the face there, very, very good. Obviously Christian Bale, obviously Patrick Bateman from any angle. I think they have done a cracking job here with that head sculpt. So overall, yeah, the full-on Psycho mode version of this figure is fantastic. But like I say, you also get the option to go for the more formal look. So let's take a look at that. So I thought we'd take a quick look at Mr. Bateman just in the suit format before we actually add the overcoat, so we can get an idea of the tailoring here quickly. And as I mentioned before, yeah, exemplary tailoring here from Iqonic Studios. That pinstripe suit is absolutely spot on, as is that shirt and tie. The tie is completely screen accurate, as is the shirt with that light blue colour underneath the white collar. And just overall, yeah, fantastic level of suit making here, 6-scale suit making. And I'm going to say it, I always say it, regulars to the channel will be expecting it. Hardest thing to do, in my opinion, in the 6-scale world is get a suit right, and they have absolutely nailed it on here. But yeah, proportions spot on in the suit mode, and just very, very good tailoring here. Let's take a look at this swap out head sculpt now. Magnetic head sculpts on this figure, which is great to see. All figures should be made this way, in my opinion. But this is the neutral, shall we say, head sculpt, the unpsycho head sculpt, and yeah, it's an interesting one. This I like it. I think it's very, very good. It most certainly is Christian Bale. It's most certainly Patrick Bateman. Let's get up close with this. Now, is it perfect? No, not in my opinion. I think there are some issues here, and where should we start? I think, yeah, the sculpt is good but not perfect. Paint application's very good but not perfect. There are some angles here, and I've lived with this figure a long, long time, and I've lived with it since its release, basically, and there's just some angles here where it doesn't work for me. I think it's the eyes. I think yes, they've gone for that sort of squinty look, and they've pretty much nailed it on, but at some angles this guy looks cross-eyed to me. It doesn't look quite right. The paint applications are very good, but they're not perfect in my opinion. They're just very, very good. How can I explain this? I think it's personal taste, obviously. When it comes to 6-scale figures, it's down to individual taste. It's subjective. However, overall, I think we're looking at an amazing piece here, but just something slightly off with that head sculpt. The hair is the right style, it's the right colour, individual strands are picked out, but something's gone awry in that sculpt for me. Just a little bit. It's not a deal breaker. I've got the Hot Toys DX19 swap out head sculpt here, actually. We'll bring this in. Now, whether it's the skin tones, the skin textures, I don't know. There's just something not quite right there. I think the Hot Toys have got the eyes a little bit better and the skin tones a little bit better. The pallor there is a little bit off to me. But overall, yeah, absolutely. A very, very good head sculpt, if not a perfect one. So let's have a quick look at Mr. Bateman with his overcoat. So, overcoat on, and as with the rest of the outfit, the rest of the suit, the fit and the finish are absolutely on point here. It falls beautifully, the tailoring is absolutely excellent. The materials that Iqonic have used here are really, really nice. It's this sort of, it feels like a sort of almost like a faux suede or a brushed cotton, but it's nice and heavy. It's lined beautifully. The tailoring is absolutely on point, and it is a dust and small hair magnet. It really, really is, as with most dark suits. But yeah, there you have it. That's the overcoated look. So I think it's time to go in for a final verdict on Mr. Bateman. Let's swap him back to Psycho mode. So, back to axe-wielding mode, and time for a final verdict on Iqonic Studios' take on Mr. Bateman. Where to begin? Let's start with the accessories. The accessories, 10 out of 10, straight away, no issues there. The variety, the quality, the screen accuracy, the paint applications, all on point. The base is fantastic. The presentation of this figure is phenomenal with the art box and the interior. So yeah, accessories and presentation, a massive thumbs up. That axe, that blood effect. The tailoring, a definite 10 out of 10 as well. The stitch work, the screen accuracy, the materials that have been used here, all on point. Fall, fit, finish, all nailed on by Iqonic Studios. Really, there's probably only one minor fly in the ointment, and that's probably down to me and my personal taste. It's this swap out head sculpt. I think from certain angles and from certain positions, the paintwork and the sculpt could have been ever so slightly better, but this isn't the head sculpt that I tend to sport in the display. I think this is a far more iconic look. This is the look that I go for, and I don't tend to swap it out that often. So yeah, maybe a minor point off on this swap out head sculpt, but the fact that they're magnetic, the fact that this second head sculpt is so good, it's just absolutely nailed on as far as I'm concerned. A minor niggle, if you're thinking of picking this figure up, I've had it since its release, as I mentioned at the top there. What I have found over a period of time is that there is colour transfer from this blue suit. The deep blue colour of this suit transfers to the inside of the clear plastic overcoat. So if you're keeping him in a pose like this with his arms bent, you're going to find colour transfer on the inside there. You're going to find these blue marks appearing. And as well with this plastic overcoat, I have found that over time it's slightly discoloured, as this kind of plastic tends to do. I'm not saying it's patchy, but you can probably see here there are some slight changes in the actual transparency of the plastic, and I think that's down to age. It's not been exposed to sunlight, it's not been in any adverse weather conditions, but I think that's just natural deterioration. But overall, I think that Iqonic Studios have done a fantastic job here. So is it a grail or is it a fail? Tough one, this, because I think outside of ridiculously expensive custom jobs, I think this is the best representation of Patrick Bateman from American Psycho in 1/6 scale. I'm going to go with a grail. I'm going to give this a thumbs up. It's a grail with a couple of minor caveats. The biggest one being this swap out head sculpt for me, but as I say, that's subjective. So there you have it, folks. Iqonic Studios take on Patrick Bateman is an absolute go figure grail and a huge thumbs up. So what's coming up on the channel? Well, we've got more episodes of Grail or Fail, obviously. We've got more episodes of Don't Make Me Choose. We have got new 6 scale figure reviews from Hot Toys, from InArt, from Pure Art, Susu Toys, Exo6, Caustic Plastic. The list is endless. We've got more showcases, we've got more previews. So as I mentioned at the top there, be sure to hit that bell notification icon and subscribe button so you're not missing anything. And I suppose all that remains from me to say, from Mr. Bateman and myself, take care of yourselves, happy collecting, and it's over to the showcase.